I rise today to talk of one of West Virginia's very own, Police Officer Cassie Johnson. Officer Johnson was a member of our hometown Charleston Police Department, where she joined just less than two short years ago. She was a devoted daughter, sister, a loyal friend, and a lover of animals. She had 3 dogs. She was formerly a humane officer as well in our community. And boy, did she have a bright future ahead of her. On Tuesday, the Charleston Police Department received a call about a traffic complaint. Officer Johnson answered that call and responded accordingly, just as she would have any other call. Shortly after arriving at that location, she was shot in the chest. The bullet hit her badge, it deflected into her neck, where it eventually struck a main artery. She was rushed to the hospital, and every effort was made to save her life. She's 28. She's 28 years old. Sadly, we learned yesterday that the decision was made to remove her from life support, and she will not be able to pull through. We also learned that Officer Johnson is an organ donor, which means she'll be able to share the gift of life with others. I had the opportunity to speak with Officer Johnson's mother, Cheryl, just this morning, and she expressed to me her daughter's commitment to organ donation. She said that her daughter felt very strongly about giving this gift to others in the event that something like this could happen, was very clear about her wishes. And I think that's a testament to the kind of person that Officer Johnson was. As former Charleston Police Department Lieutenant Paul Perdue said, and I quote him, "The end of her life will be the second beginning for others, and that's just who she was." As you can imagine, Mr. President, our community is hurting in our country, and all of our law enforcement across the country is hurting today for our community and Officer Johnson's family. But the outpour of support has just been incredible to witness. Throughout this week, West Virginians have been honoring Officer Johnson's life in so many ways. Like in Charleston, our beautiful Civic Center, Coliseum and Civic Center has been lit in blue in honor of her and our law enforcement. There's been a great money-raising effort to help Officer Johnson's family meet what is going to be a financial challenge earlier, and what do we do with her pets? And there's been an effort to have her pets adopted. And I just read before I came in here that the GoFundMe page for Officer Johnson had already exceeded its goal, and hopefully it will continue to grow. Last night, a candle vigil was held at outdoors to honor her life and legacy, where the community leader spoke, and Officer Johnson's mother, Cheryl, spoke. That's a tough duty, a tough assignment for any mom. During the vigil, her mother spoke about Officer Johnson's love for her community, about her desire to protect everyone that she was surrounded by. You know, when I talked to her mother this morning, she echoed those same sentiments in the phone conversation we had, and she said that hundreds of West Virginians had reached out to her personally. Many had stopped by the hospital wanting to say goodbye to Officer Johnson, and these gestures have just been so touching, and I could tell it really helped her family, and in particular, her mother, Cheryl. Charleston Police Chief Tyke Hunt told Officer Johnson's mother that she raised her right, and that Officer Johnson was, quote, "a good-hearted soul who had to pay the ultimate sacrifice," end quote. You know, Chief Hunt is right. It's a bitter pill. In a local interview following her swearing in, Officer Johnson said, and I quote, "I am really happy to finally getting to follow my dreams and joining the Charleston Police Department." She continued by saying, "I've grown up and lived in Charleston my whole life. I just wanted to help make my city a better place and be there and to be able to help the citizens of our city. This job was a dream come true for Officer Johnson. She loved her community, and our community loved her back. But like all of our law enforcement, Officer Johnson cared for us and was fiercely dedicated to protecting her community. And that's my community. When I think of Officer Johnson, I think of her protecting my family and my neighbors and my community, larger community of Charleston. Police officers like Officer Johnson selflessly put their lives on the line every day for the safety of our communities. And they never know what's around the corner. They never know. She thought she was going for a parking violation. It's a hard job and one that is rarely appreciated enough. I ask if you've heard this today or if you've read about this, that we all take a minute today and every day to thank our law enforcement and recognize the sacrifices that they make to ensure that our communities are safe and protected. I'd also ask you to keep the Johnson family in your hearts and prayers. Our Chief Hunt, of the Charleston Police Department, and all her brothers and sisters in the police department and the first responders. Our Mayor Amy Goodwin, has done a wonderful job bringing the community together in a wonderful show of support for Officer Cassie Johnson and her family, and I thank her. The entire city of Charleston is hurting, so please keep them in your hearts and prayers as well. With that very difficult time, I yield back my time, and I thank you.